All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Top Corner Football Podcast, where all of your news, rumors, match breakdowns, table and season predictions, all of the that you love hearing about, and that apparently we love talking about, otherwise we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, if you hear the news and the rumors, definitely came from us.
Yeah, we start most of the rumors, and we report on the news a little late, so we like to throw our 2 cents around, and then we show up late to the party when the facts arrive. Jordan, how you doing? We took a week off. I went on an anniversary trip, got a tiny bit of a tan. Not too much, just a little. Just a tiny bit. How you doing?
I'm great. Amazing. Fantastic.
What did you do in the off week?
Didn't do much. Just
nothing.
Just got a lot of studying to do, but that's about it.
Bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Something like that.
Well, so we are rapidly approaching the end of the Premier League season. Most other seasons are pretty wrapped up. PSG claiming France, Leverkusen claiming Germany. We got Real Madrid more than likely sneaking in, but they've got what, 2 points remaining, something like that.
Yeah. Also Inter
Milan clutched their league as well.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, well, when this episode comes out, Tuesday morning, we will have Real Madrid and Bayern Munich.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big matchup. League. So yeah, everything's wrapping up. The FA Cup final is established. We've got 3 more weeks for some clubs in the Premier League. And then we're in the semifinals, and with Liverpool out of the Europa opportunity, you have to think that Bayer Leverkusen can clutch that, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool is the only one standing in their way. It's not quite the Champions League double. It's not the official double, but it's still a European double, which is a massive deal. If he gets the double, Xabi Alonso, that is, does that mean that he has to leave the club as soon as possible, or do you kind of owe it to these fans to stay around? Because I don't know, when it you expect one title, you expect one thing coming home. If you have a club that has a rich history, they've not won these kinds of things before. So they're about to win 2 major trophies in 1 year. They need this guy to stay around. They're going to treat this guy like fucking John Lennon. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be insane what this guy can do. He can probably get away with murder in Leverkusen if he wanted to.
This guy becomes he becomes the freaking Queen of England.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
whatever he says, whatever he does, stands. So.
Yeah. So is that an incentive for him then? I'm thinking because the fans will want him to stay, obviously. Does he think that he owes it to them to try to do something comparable again, since you won 2 trophies in your first season?
No, I feel like if you do that, then it just gets you that extra assurance that you can do all this, and the fact that you win it with that team also can approach more investors, because now you probably need a good team, because now you're gonna really be in the big boys league. Yeah. And Bayern Munich is definitely gonna try to fix your problem next year. Yeah,
they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, and you get in the Champions League if you expect to. You getting that win, and if then. Yeah, you need guys, but I think all his team though, they're good to go. They're good to compete, but competing to at a high level. It's not easy. I feel like you need at least 1 or 2 guys that, I don't know.
With Leverkusen being the heavy favorites to win the Europa League this year, let's say that they weren't in Europa this year, but they're still performing at this exact same level. If they were in the Championship or the Champions League, how far would they go in the Champions League? Performing like they did this year?
I don't know. I will have to see whoever is in there, but I know for sure they ain't getting they're not winning.
I agree. Yeah, you have to think,
but you never know. They can get to the quarterfinal.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that if you almost any given Europa League winner, in theory, because you have to play at a certain quality to achieve that. They've got to be able to get, and I mean average, not just Leverkusen, but the average Europa League winner that season, if they were in Champions League instead, they get to the quarterfinals. They get out of their group. They move past 1 knockout round. Yeah. And if they get to the semifinal, I think that's an impressive feat. But I think you were expected that if you were, if you were to bump up one step in the UEFA competitions, you get to the quarterfinal. So yeah,
definitely.
And then especially if they had that easier kind of run that PSG sort of has, that easier side of the bracket, I think that Leverkusen could beat Dortmund over 2 legs.
Yeah.
They could have moved on to the semifinals and faced PSG. That'd been wild. Leverkusen and PSG.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's all situation because we all thought Dortmund is gonna be the scapegoat. This is gonna be the least, but guess what? We were all wrong because now Dortmund went through. And they were not kidding when they played the other guys. So
yeah, they don't play. They haven't played great at in any competition, but they're really saving their best performances, or at least I guess their most luck for the Champions League because they're not.
Yeah, because there's also one thing on the other perspective. If I lose the league and I'm still in the run for the Champions League, guess what? I try to do my best because A, I'm attracting more people, more viewership, more exposure. And B, the other people that are in the team or the other players, they want to make sure they are their best, especially for players that are thinking about leaving. Because when you perform there, that's the biggest stage in club competition. And I'm telling you that, especially you want to get to the finals and the finals of the Champions League. The only thing that don't have more viewership than the Champions League final. No, the only thing that have more viewership than the Champions League final in terms of football is the World Cup. That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you have a lot of eyes on you. So everybody want to get there. Plus, there's more money, more ads, more everything. So I think that's probably what they do. But I did not see them beating Atletico Madrid in the millions here, just because. Atletico Madrid, that's a defending team. I didn't even know because of Dortmund performance this year. I didn't even know how they would manage something.
And it was still a bit of a scramble of a two-leg series as well. And I mean, Atletico, they're defensively strong, and Dortmund have been defensively troublesome and weak in the Champions League. So to see them have advanced the way that they did that's pretty surprising, man.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let's get into the news
and rumors.
Thiago Silva to leave Chelsea Football Club at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
has to happen at some point. Might as well be now at Chelsea's lowest point.
Got to him though, because I think he was gonna leave last year, but he wanted to stay one more year just so
jokes on him.
He can help the team. But at this point, I mean, he had a great career. He's been playing for a long time. There's nothing you can say about him. He played at the highest level. He pretty much won everything except probably for the World Cup, but he won he won the at the time they're still doing the how do you call it? It's another competition for the whole clubs. They won that in 2013 before 2014. I forgot how you call it, but Champions League winner, I think Europa League winner. He won, like I said, pretty much everything. At some point was the best defender in the world. And there's nothing you can say about his career. He had a very good career, so you can't really say anything about him. If it's time for him to leave, it's time for him to leave. The game has gone.
And he can see that he probably has 3 seasons in Saudi Arabia. And those guys make sense to me. It's the young guys that go early and don't really test themselves. But I mean, he can play safely, not get too injured, and still compete and make a lot more money. But he knows that both he is probably not capable of playing at that highest level if he left Chelsea anymore anyway. And Chelsea's not a good club at the moment to spend those final years in. So it makes all the sense in the world to me. I believe it's a good time. He could have maybe gotten out early and had one extra season to make a lot of money in Saudi Arabia this year. Because it looks like Chelsea just dug themselves a hole and can't get out of it at all.
The market values of the players just dip down. But, at the end of the day, it's Thiago. I feel like at Chelsea, I see Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva to Chelsea it's more of a monumental guy, more of like a little bit like I wouldn't say like a DJ Drogba in a sense, but kind of like that, because he left Chelsea, went to Paris, came back again to Chelsea. So Chelsea is team. But Manchester United entire squad is up for sale.
We kind of said this all season.
Yeah, we've been saying this, and there were rumors, and these are really strong ones. Reading this report that I read from All Football Clubs, and thinking that the Jim Ratcliffe and the new CEO that's coming in, and the group INEO, I think is the group that one of the group that invest in them or whatever.
Yeah.
But they are thinking firmly and strongly of selling everyone except 3 players. And I said this: Kobe Mano, Garnacho, and Highland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to leave the team, these guys are young. They're probably like, what, 20, 18 or 20, 19, 18 or 20, 21, 18.
I don't think any of them are. I think Hoyland might be 21.
Yeah,
Hoyland, like that.
Yeah, it might be the oldest. But yeah, you got that. You get this type of players because, first of all, they're young. So guess what? They want to play. They have that flame in them. They want to prove to the world who they are. So they're going to play. Kobe Mano has been great since we've seen, like, he's been proving that he can be a potential good midfielder. Yeah, if given the time, and also just mentorship and a good club. And to be honest, clubs like United are not really good for guys like who have expecting potential, and just because it could go sideways. Because when the club is not good, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, but it's clear on all 3 of them that they are playing very well, and that there are certain players that even when they're not in their prime, you can sort of get a sense of, they're playing almost to the absolute best of their ability. Yeah. Whereas all 3 of these guys, you can see there's a lot more that they can improve on, despite them playing very well in their individual ways. So like their stock is only going to increase. Even if United are not playing at that well this season. I mean, United have not been playing well, but Garnacho and Manu especially have done nothing but improve their value overall. Yeah. So why would you not hold on to them? Because they will continue to increase their value.
Like I said.
And then you decide to sell later whether you want to.
If I had the selling power, I'm selling everyone. I'm telling you, every one of them. Because one thing they do, when they're on the stadium, they either walk around, you don't see no greets, no, you don't in their eyes, they have no sensation of wanting to be on that field. First of all,
a bunch of chuckle fucks.
Yeah, and you see Mr. 10 over there or walking around.
More like 9. More like 9 hag.
Yeah. They're all, Yeah, so it's start by the manager, man. Offload everyone. Yeah. So, just keep the 3 players, build around these players.
The chefs, the cooks in the back, all
everyone. Bring the young guys from our academy who you think can play. And the worst part about this is Manchester United cannot afford to spend that much money on, like, big players anymore, because they've spent a lot of money on these players that didn't do anything for the club, about 555 million for 3 or 4 years or whatever, and now they're in a situation where they don't have the funds to spend that much, especially with the financial fair play or whatever things that you can do. You can spend more, and they're going to vote a new law again that you can spend more of or a certain amount. And
not a single player that they've purchased that they intend to sell now has increased in value. They've they're going to take a hit on every single sale, but they have to sell everybody.
Now,
at the same time.
This is more of a campaign to raise money by selling them, sell off them, and Paris Saint-Germain. I think the thing, Rashford's. Either his management or whatever approached Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain approached them 2 years ago. But nowadays, as it stands, Paris Saint-Germain is not even interested in Rashford. So,
speaking of fucking like raising money, it's like like they're gonna have to make a lemonade stand too. Yeah, like that's how bad it's getting.
Yes, send all these players so they can go
donating their clothes,
sell those lemonade.
It's ridiculous.
But, that's you get what you get. And I know Mourinho was saying the one time that the players that he wanted gone a long time ago are still there. And guess what? Manchester United is in a weird spot. So, but that's about it. That's what I would say. Xavi Hernandez. I guess I said that one good.
You nailed that one.
Xavi is staying at Barcelona. He's extending his contract for 1 more year.
Very surprising.
Barcelona and Xavi have reached a very, very good understanding.
I wonder if they kissed and made up too. Like on the cheek. They're old men.
They might have. This is kind of the Spanish culture. It's kind of like China.
Grab the ass a little bit.
I don't know about that one.
We'll see how it goes.
But guess what? And I said this. There's no point leaving. and there's no point for the club to try to fire him, and there's no point to listen to the cocoons that are medias.
What did you just say?
Just cocoons. It's kind of like buffoons, but that's what my dad would say.
Yeah,
they're like these media people.
Okay, I was like, that's the damnedest thing I've ever heard in my life. What the what did you just say?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
so there's no point listening to them. Barcelona is in a great, I would say, great shape in terms of it's not like they last and they won last year. So
yeah,
they've
picked up since Christmas. They were in pretty bad shape around Christmas, and they've really improved quite a bit.
Yeah, it's probably the fever of Xavi leaving that made.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, the Spanish league is largely, and everyone can fuck off, a two-club league. Like one of those two are gonna win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So even coming in second in that 2-team league is a defeat, but they look, if they continue in this form and end as strongly as they are right now, this will not be as bad of a season that we had assumed that it was going to be.
No, I mean, for me, I think they're in good shape, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there's no point trying to make all the force about anything.
Yeah.
They got it. They just leave them. I know they're trying to get the Champions League, they're trying to get the league, but that's probably because they also want money. But, I think Xavi is the guy for it, and even if he don't win that, at least they will still be in the top of the teams,
Yeah, and they have options for sales as well. Like I think that everybody if you really need a quick profit, and I'm not saying to sell him because I think he's a good player, but he's not obviously reached the level that we thought that he could and still could, like a Frankie De Jong. You could still sell him for a good amount of money. Probably more than you paid for him overall. Like they have options. If they need quick cash, none of their guys have really dropped in stock that much. I've heard some outlandish prices for Araujo.
Yeah.
Someone's like, they're like valuing him at like $80 million. And I'm like, you guys haven't seen this fucker play. I'm not saying he's bad.
Yeah.
But like that much money? No, he's probably worth 55.
Well, you live in this age, man.
He's conceded a lot of goals. I've seen him make a lot of mistakes this season. Now he's made some good plays as well. But like, what valuation is that? 80 million.
But at the end of the day, they still have a lot of play. They have a lot of players they could sell that to raise money. I'm talking about young talent that you put them in a game, 2-3 games. Yeah, the word gets out. Hey, whatever teams wants to inflate the price to get the player, sell them. I'm just saying they're in a good spot in terms of youthness, and they're rebuilding. There's not a lot of old people in that team. There's a lot of youth, and you just got like some veterans, like not veterans of the team but of the game, like Gundogan, like Lewandowski, that are there to kind of sort of help the transition.
Ter Stegen.
Ter Stegen. But in terms of just averagely, they're good. So let them play and let's see what
Speaking of really fast about Lewandowski has come out and said that he does want one more season with Barcelona. He believes that he's not ready to hang up the boots yet, or move or take that step down in the hierarchy structure.
Yeah.
I'd say let him do it.
Yeah, I would let
him hang around some more. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Osimhen leaning towards PSG or Chelsea. That's a great one. Well,
he has shit taste. If that's the case.
I don't know.
There are places he could go.
I wouldn't go to Chelsea. I would go to PSG if it was him, because Mbappe leaving opens the door. But again, I feel like since all the force around Mbappe leaving, Dembele has been stepping up big time. This guy. He scored last weekend in the league. I didn't watch the game this week, but I don't know if he scored or whatever. But he just, Dembele just became Dembele.
yeah. But then imagine Osimhen in at number 9, sort of creating a dual threat. Yeah. They're a little light on the left wing. I think that Barcola is good.
No, Barcola is coming good. I feel like it's been. So one thing I'm thinking the coach is doing, and which I'm seeing it, and I think it's fruitful, is the fact that since sometimes he will bench Mbappe or send Mbappe on another wing or just a striker so Barcola can play there, so he gets used to. And Barcola has been exceptional since I've been watching him play on that left side. So I think that they got it. If they just put that number 9, drop that number 9 in there as Osimhen incoming, they'll be in great shape right now. Yeah. And the other thing, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United interested in Brighton's Carlos Baleba. Baleba is my countryman. He's from Cameroon.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Bought from Lille for 30 million last summer.
What would he be valued at now, do you think? And now that he's been at a Premier League club, not been playing as well
50,
as expected.
A good 50.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Baleba, I feel like if he gets more playing time, he can flourish. Because right now he's in the spot where he needs more playing time. Because the talent is there, obviously.
Yeah.
But for that talent to grow and flourish, it has to be nourished. And he needs a team that was willing to do that. I'll probably, if I was him, I would just either Liverpool or I guess probably Arsenal, just because of the structure of the team. Yeah. But I don't see him having more playing time.
I would say the same thing with that. The thing is that if you go to Arsenal, you know what that system looks like right now. Whereas there are a lot of unanswered questions in terms of what's actually going to happen to Liverpool. You have a very clear understanding of where Arsenal are going to be in the next 3 seasons. You really don't know what's going to happen with Liverpool. I don't think that they'll drop to where they were in like 2016, 2017 before Klopp, where they were 6th or 7th. But Baleba also kind of suffered from, he's not had a lot of playing time. He's not been in great form, but also Brighton haven't. And you expect at this point Brighton, because they've made so many great sales, they always have a young, sort of strong squad. You expect them in the top 8 at all times, and right now they're sitting at 12.
But if I was him and Liverpool is wanting me, I would go to Liverpool. Like you said, we don't know, but at least you can foresee that he might be somewhat of a starter in that midfield.
He could. The thing I would say though is that now that Henderson and Milner are gone, now he's fighting against McAllister. He will not start over McAllister. He will not start over Szoboszlai. And if he's playing like he is now, he wouldn't start over Curtis Jones. So whereas I will say everybody is sort of fighting for, theoretically, every midfielder in Europe should in theory be trying to gun for Arsenal, because Thomas Partey is going to be moving out soon. Thomas Partey will be moving out. That center midfielder, you won't start over Odegaard, you won't start over Rice, that's fine. But there is a legitimate opening in that middle.
But is Baleba a holding midfielder or is a center midfielder?
I think that you could almost let both him and Rice kind of explore a little bit. Because they're both good defensively. They're neither one's strictly a holding, but kind of let them move and take over spots for each other, because Odegaard's always going to go forward. That's just the way it is. But there's been a really smooth transition in the midfield of allowing Rice to have some freedom, but also have to track back, sort of like what Havertz was supposed to do before he moved to the number 9 and is now playing very well. I don't know. I think that these midfielders should be looking at the play style of Arsenal, and sort of looking for it, because Jorginho as well. Jorginho and Partey are both that center midfielder, and they're both not going to be there forever.
And the thing about Baleba, in a system like Arsenal, he will still do good just because that's how Brighton plays too, in a sense, like that. This whole shebang of this new thing that's going on here. But Liverpool expect Salah for one more reason, yes, and Salah has said it. So especially that they just announced their new coach this season. It's gonna be the Feyenoord's coach. So I'm excited to see what he's coming. And the one thing, like I said, the reason why one thing I was talking about Baleba going there is he's not too expensive now, and he has potential. And Liverpool, I don't think they will spend that much money for a lot of big players, but especially that Feyenoord, I don't know how much they'll give this new coach, but I don't think they'll give him that much money. And you have a situation where you kind of have to build your attack in a sense, probably the defense too, but you have to build the attack. I don't think the midfielders. I think he's got to go to midfield.
The midfielders are his strongest point at the moment.
But he definitely needs a 9. A real 9, not the Luis Diaz or whatever. He needs a good 9.
Nunez, But Nunez, and then also, like, it's happened late in the season, but for a while, Van Dijk had Gomez. Remember, like 3 years ago, Gomez, like that partnership was great, and then Van Dijk and Konate seemed like it was really doing well. Kwanzaa has not proven anything yet, really, but like it seems like Van Dijk has dropped in form, but he also doesn't have anybody that he's really responding well with as a duo right now.
Yeah.
So you almost need a new number 9, and you need to take a chance on like a younger center back that can feed off of Van Dijk.
And they can look across the leagues right now. I mean, like I said, even at Barcelona, there's that young kid that's 17. I don't know if they're gonna sell him. He played very good first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. So I'm not sure, but I don't think Barcelona is looking to sell like these players probably because they want to build on them. But
they're going to build and sell in a higher value. I think that in 3 years or so, Barcelona will offload 3 or 4 players for a lot of money.
It's crazy, though,
and it'll probably fix all their financial issues if they just hold on to them and let their stock increase a little bit.
I feel like the same thing. I feel like if they still get like enough playing time and they're still on the top teams, their whole squad is gonna be expensive.
Yep. Oh yeah. So if they hold on for a little bit longer, they'll be alleviated of all their financial issues, I think.
Back
to PSG really quick. PSG want to extend Vitinha. He has a current contract till 2027, but they want to extend it even further. I don't know how long exactly. You got to think 2 years or so.
I'll go for it because Vitinha. If I'm Vitinha, I would do it. Vitinha is playing very great. Yeah. He understands PSG. He's playing. I always thought he's doing a killer at PSG. So.
And he's young enough too that once that contract is out, he'll probably be 27, 28 and be able to have a really, really strong run of like 4 years at another club if he wishes to. And if nothing pans out for PSG,
more money if the club do well.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm thinking PSG will do really good because the coach. What I'm saying. And with the young guys, he's building it. And because PSG is also a young team. People don't know that. PSG is a really young team. Most of them are really young. Like this PSG. Paul Mbappe is the oldest in that team. If not, who will be the oldest?
Kimpembe, but he doesn't start week in, week out. He's on the roster, but he hasn't really done much lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that team is...
They suffer, though, PSG, and you wonder if Vitinha would get sick of it as well because... it doesn't matter to the fans almost when they win the French league. They're expected, like the only thing that matters to them is the champion. Like, and I mean that respectfully as well, because I mean it is a one-team league.
Yeah,
if you go there for trophies, unfortunately only one matters, and it's the one that they can't win.
Yeah, but I mean I get that because if you are someone that wins every time, no one is. I don't think that the fans are responding to the fact that it's more for them. It's just another one. Yeah. But what they are in for, because they've already seen this. When you took the team in 2012, 13, 14, that was the promise because PSG was not there. Now that you've won this every single time successfully, I don't want this anymore. I want the biggest trophy, and that was really the promise when PSG came in, create a team. A team of superstars that will win the Champions League. They haven't seen it yet. So even if I was a PSG fan, that's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I want you guys to gun for it.
Do you think that it's a little demoralizing for the players, seeing that it's like, look, we can win the Coupe de France, we can win the Ligue 1 title every single year, and it doesn't really matter. Like we can lift 2 trophies over our heads every single season. Yeah. And it doesn't quite matter. Only one matters, and it's the one that we can't quite seem to get to. I don't know, like
for the players,
if an English team wins the FA Cup, it's still a big deal. If they win the Premier League, it's still a massive deal. It's just like as a player, I would be a little apprehensive to go there for that reason.
For English teams though, it's different because I feel like it depends. Like if a team like City don't win the Champions League, then it's a problem. That's why Pep Guardiola was saying the other time that why always us? If we don't win this, what's happening? Right?
Yeah.
Like Arsenal now, it's in a spot where at either the Premier League or the Champions League, it's like, okay, we kind of won this.
Yeah.
But if it's like a team in lower 5, if it's 5, 6, it's like, okay, that's an FA Cup. We gotta celebrate for it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's also because of how the league is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
PSG, in the sense, if the League One, that's more of a league thing. They can implement things that will make the league more stronger in the sense okay, now that there's more competition, if I win the league, this is right now like in Premier League where we have these 3 guys running off the title it's more like 2 guys now, but that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I just think about it as a player of like,
yeah, they just have to.
We win these trophies, and like I don't know, like every other club seems like every other club in Europe seems to get to celebrate when they win their domestic league, but it's like we kind of don't get to. But also like the fans and the club itself act like they are owed the Champions League, or like that they've won it before and therefore they belong in that conversation. It's like you don't. They also think that they're bigger than they are, so you should be able to celebrate the fact that you've won X amount of league titles in a row, because you're not Real Madrid. You want to so badly to be, but you're not. You never will be, and that's fine.
I feel like also it goes to it's like Bayern Munich too. Winning the title every year at some point, it's a routine from. Now that they lost this year, all the fans are okay. Now we gotta win it back next year. It's coming. It's gotta come back. So it's just that it's for them. It's more like a routine, and I feel them. But at the end of the day, if you win that too much, we want the big one. We want to put the big one in our trophy case.
Yeah. Let's move past PSG.
Ivan Toney was $250K a week for transfer deal. Arsenal don't see. Willing.
He sort of floated out that he sort of said that like, this is when I take a step up to a bigger club, this is the weekly salary that I'm kind of wanting. Not a lot of clubs are really going to want to do that, but it seems like Arsenal have kind of cooled off on him in that regard of like, well, which I get. You don't want to break the bank on that. I can see, I'm not surprised that happened with him, that he's going to try to get the most. Like, the issue is that when you try to stretch that much, when you try to get that much, it really does limit you to certain clubs. And at this point in time, the most wealthy clubs are not the ones that are doing well. They're not, just because they have the money doesn't mean that they're doing the best. And I get that players are entitled to get as much money as they can. I understand that. But at this particular moment in time, if you're wanting to win trophies, you're not going to the club that's going to pay the most money. You're just not. You're just not, straight up. And the ones that are City, that are wealthy and are doing well, they don't have a spot for you right now. But the ones that do have a spot for you, that are going to win things, are like a Liverpool, like an Arsenal, and they just don't have that cash.
If I was Ivan Toney agent, what I will tell him is, if Arsenal wants you for X amount, go for it. The reason is because, one, Arsenal is in a sport where they are competitors now, so they want to win, and they have a squad that can win. They just have these little things that if they fix, they can. And for me, one thing that should be regarded to fix as much as possible, or as immediate as possible, would be the attack, in a sense. When I said the attack, it's not that they cannot score goals, but like I always say, and you can always see that in a situation where you have a game that's a match that's very, very difficult, where it's defensively taxing, where every single area and spaces are covered, you need any opportunities you get, you have to convert, because there's no chance for miss. They
have a lot of goal scorers. They do not have any finishers, and that's the thing. When you have to squeeze in, when you only get 2 shots on target, one has to go in, and they don't have that guy because they're so used to having this high energy offense where they're gonna get 12 shots on target, and 3 are going to go in from different people, but like you do need the one person that if you touch the ball twice, motherfucker, you're getting in once. You need that.
You need a prime Lewandowski. You need a prime Muller. You need this type of guys that will put it in, no matter what was the case. Do that. Ivan Toney, do that. Come on, bro. Bayern won Kyle Walker this summer after failing to sign last summer.
Especially with Davies leaving, they need some speed on those wings.
If I'm Kyle Walker, I would do it. I mean, he has options. He could stay. He could do it. There's no problem. But also, his contract is, I don't know when his contract is supposed to be finished though, but I know he extended his contract.
Well, but remember last season, it wasn't quite about the contract. It wasn't quite about the playing time. Remember, he had some like baby mama drama kind of shit going on. I don't know if they figured it out or
Kyle
not.
Walker will flourish in the US.
He would love that shit. Yeah, because send him to Miami. That's a great city for that shit.
They will have a whole TV reality about
oh my God,
what's happening, because he's the most exciting player out of playing.
Yeah.
out of football.
Just call it call the show like Running with Walker or some shit. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, he's in a good spot, so I can say if you can do or not do, he still get what he wants.
33 years old, great career, did everything he needed to do. Speaking of US, really fast, one more tiny bit. Olivier Giroud, it looks like he will be signing to LAFC.
Dang.
That's weird.
LFC and Miami, that's a game I want to see, but I don't know if I want to travel to go see that.
Fuck no. No, you couldn't pay me to travel to that anyway.
But that's a game I want if he comes.
Yeah, it's the MLS stuff is getting a little annoying though, because it's like right now it's only 2 clubs. Remember when LA Galaxy was the club where like, and they kept winning, but like they always had the high profile guys. But at least now it's 1 in each conference. Yeah. But it really is getting annoying. Miami is Barcelona basically from like 10 years ago, and you're just like, Jesus, okay. And then they're still destroying the league.
From a business standpoint, I feel like the league is, in a sense, doing great at spotting this. But if they could implement a thing that probably one or like you say, or 2 teams in each conference kind of have that in a sense, and also grow the league, in not just trying to pick up these stars that are, trying to finish their career, but trying to make it in a sense where it's competitive, where people want to come here as a starter, not as a finisher and then in their career.
The other thing as well is that, and I get it, but I also, it's part of what makes the league so vapid, I think, the MLS. A lot of these guys are going to those 2 clubs because of the city itself. Because say what you want about, like, yes, there's incentive to go to the city of Madrid, of Barcelona, or one of the London clubs. Munich, with all due respect, of the Bavarians, Munich, I don't know if anyone's like that.
I want to go. I'm gonna go to Munich.
The Munich nightlife and shit. Like no,
but that's the same thing. That's something I forgot who said that. Well, he was saying the when Sancho had all this deep form problem or whatever, and he was saying because Sancho is in England partying. If he gets his ball back to Dortmund where there's no party life, he can't understand the language, then he will do great.
Get your ass out of that nightclub. But like, and it's just like, I wish that it was like the Kansas City club that was just crushing it, and so Messi's just like hanging out in Kansas City. That'd be kind of funny to me. But the thing is, like none of the clubs are that good. The league is not that good to where there's an incentive to go to a club, even if it's doing well. That's not in one of the big American cities, and I can think of 4. There's no real reason that a high-profile European player would go anywhere but New York, L.A., Miami, Chicago. Those are the 4 in which the city itself, the grandness, the spectacle of the city is probably just as interesting to them as continuing their playing.
But you know what's crazy though? I feel like a city like Nashville, if they get some good, people that know football in sense of business, they can put together a good plan to attract players that, although I know they don't have that crazy money, but players that have at least a little bit of name in Europe that are finishing and they can get it. The reason why I say that is because when they hosted the Fan Fest, the Premier League Fan Fest, it was the highest attending. So it means people...
That crowd was nuts.
It means people really watch football, follow football here. And if you had that one person, imagine. In Nashville, so the sales, the ticket and everything, business-wise, it will be a great move. But I just don't see who in a sense in Europe.
Could you imagine like a Tony Cruz or a Luka Modric?
No, Tony Cruz is a good. That'd be interesting. It's a good choice, but because
my God, I'd lose my fucking mind. I would buy a Tony Cruz jersey that day.
Yeah, because I know for sure he wouldn't cost like the Messi kind of.
Oh no,
but he has the name.
Yes, he does.
He has the accolades,
and he's still good enough to continue. He'd probably have 4 solid years in that league.
Yeah, that's something. That's someone you will be like, okay, I gotta approach that guy.
You gotta think that if a player has
Modric.
Yeah. So like you start calculating things out. You're like, if if a player is in his early to like mid 30s, like 33, 35, and he's got 2 seasons left in which he can be effective in Europe, he probably has 4 to 5 in which he could be competitive in the MLS.
Yes.
And I mean that respectfully.
Yeah.
He could play until he was 40, probably, if he wanted to, if he was in the MLS.
No, I would definitely do that.
That'd be wild. I'm getting excited for shit that won't happen. Anyway.
That would be wild. For fans that know football, follow like football in Europe, man, they will be sleeping at the stadium.
Yep.
So that would be really good to see. What you know. What was I gonna? I was gonna talk about this. This is an interesting take. Lately, I've been trying to revise my idea. Growing up, every time when my dad and I were talking, and when we would just debate, one thing we always came to the conclusion, like, oh no, it depends. Not like in the late 2000s, not like in the 90s, but I would say like 2000s upward, because that's really where I think the Premier League had become the freaking standard in terms of the most competitive league, because in the 90s, that was more Italian. Yeah. But when we were talking, and normally, right, 2000, I was like, what? It was in 2007, 2008. We were always coming to the conclusion, the Premier League is the strongest and it's the best league. But I'm a little bit revising the idea that it's the best league. I would say pound to pound in league is the best.
Yeah.
But it's not the best league in terms of individual clubs against other individual clubs. Yeah, that's why I'm starting to revise the idea, because basically before I would be like, I wouldn't think about this, but now that I thought about this for a while and I'm still thinking about it, and we'll probably have a segment on this. If you watch from 2005, that was when Liverpool won. Was it Liverpool? Yeah. To now, Spain actually dominated football, and probably is still, because you always have one.
And you're talking about Champions League.
Yep. Yeah, in Europe. Talking about Europe.
See, and this is where I always start to disagree a little bit, because yes, they dominate the Champions League, but we're talking about a league.
No, that's
because if we're talking about Spain and Champions League, 2 clubs.
No, that's it. I'm coming, but guess what? When you take any team in the Premier League, when they play any team in Spain, they don't win. Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's like you take Valencia. Valencia will beat probably half of the Premier League in competition. Yeah. That's why I'm saying that revising the idea now, that's why I said it's the best league pound to pound in league. But out of league, I just don't think it's the best anymore.
The quality of the leagues are slightly evening back up.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that, man.
I think mostly and it's really now that you can even start putting them again in Champions League conversation, because you had Liverpool winning recently, you had Chelsea winning recently, you had City winning recently. But if you take from the 2000, even when I and my dad was always we always came to that conclusion without thinking about all this aspect. The other day I was like, wait a minute. Why in 2010, when I talked to my dad and we're like, this is the Premier League is the best league, because he's not really a United fan, but because he liked
it was undeniable what they were doing anyway.
Ferguson, he liked the guy.
Yeah.
And United was always his go-to, and in Spain it would be Barcelona, because we had Eto'o, but after that,
sure.
And we always came to that agreement. Now the other day I was thinking, I was like, how could we always come to that agreement when actually if you go in 2010, Premier League wasn't even at the in Europe. They were not a club you would think, let me get that Liverpool, or let me get. It will always be either Madrid, Barcelona, or Bayern.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
And every couple of years, an Inter and AC would come up, but more Inter lately. AC was a little bit earlier. AC, in
so I'm just thinking that the whole thing might have to be revised, and the language of if it's that. And the other thing that we came to the conclusion was that is the most watched league.
Yeah.
So and but interesting enough, look at this these statistics. Average attendance in Europe this season, top 5 league, the first, second, and third. Bundesliga is the first league in average attendance all around. 39,366 people on average go to watch the games. The second is Premier League, The third is Serie A, which is interesting because I thought La Liga would be third.
Yeah.
But Serie A is the third. La Liga is fourth, and Ligue 1 is fifth. That's normal.
In all things. Yeah.
In all things. That's on the Premier. The now in the second leagues, which is Bundesliga 2, which is championship for EFL. Bundesliga 2 is still the most attended on average. And the third league, which is Liga 3, League 1, Primera Federation, Serie C, and for England will be, for England will be League 1.
Yeah.
La Liga is the first. I understand that one because of the youth they produce. So
sure.
That one,
that makes sense.
So now I'm saying that's why I started thinking. I saw it last week, so I was like, okay, let me start thinking about this. But that was just a cool thing for you guys to think about it. But I think for Bundesliga is because they've been having Leipzig last year.
It's interesting
this year.
Yeah. It's because the league needed to get a little more competitive.
Yes.
And once it got more competitive, fans that were kind of used to Bayern, which I get, you do start to lose fandom when the Premier League, like when the title is sort of decided before the season even starts.
Yes.
So to see the giant come down a little bit, not be completely crushed, not completely go away, but more guys getting a shot, more people invested because their club can actually produce something. That's inherently interesting. And I will say, I don't think it's at a point now where we can flip La Liga and Premier League overall. What I'm saying is
Premier League will be
getting more even than we're used to by far. That's irrefutable.
Premier
100%.
League will always be in terms of just popularity. That's what I said. Popularity and the fact that because you can't always predict nowadays, the last 5 seasons you could always predict the city. It became a little monotone. But that's why I and my dad always agreed on, and our first argument was like, in La Liga we already know. In Premier League, we never know.
And it's the fact that there's a big, like the big six matter.
Yeah.
It really does matter because, even if La Liga have, most of their clubs can go toe-to-toe with Premier League sides, they're still a two. It's still a big two.
India League is still a two.
And
no matter what year you pick.
And I just think it's more interesting. And I do, if you were to form a big six in La Liga, obviously Real and Barcelona, like I think that the big six in Europe and in England would be able to take most of that big six in Spain because it would be,
because you have Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid,
Villarreal and Valencia kind of get up there a little bit,
something like that.
But like I think that like that Liverpool, that City, that Arsenal could beat Valencia, could beat Villarreal, and so it's like you could form a big six out of any league just by picking the 6 best performers, but they don't quite have that same like their top 6 right now in Spain: Madrid, Barcelona, Girona, Athletic. And Real Sociedad. You start to see the drop immediately in that 6. Now, I'm not saying that in Europa League competition, the Spanish side is not the favorite over the English side. They usually are.
Well, in that's what I'm saying. That's why with you, because if you start thinking about even previous years, if you take from 2010 even to right now, if you take most games played against any team in the Premier League and games played against any team in the Champions in La Liga, La Liga have won probably most of the games. Not probably, I'm pretty sure. And just thinking about that made me realize that, wait a minute, although it's the best team, that is the best competition that we watch because of how competitive it is in between the league, but it's not the best league in terms of teams playing other teams in other leagues. Because the argument in France is PSG is too good in France because the league is average. When they get out, they realize everybody is good. And
because they spend more time in that league, it's hard to sharpen to be able to, because you don't face those kinds of guys week in, week out.
That's true.
Yeah.
But another thing is that the and I would tell you why, and I would tell you guys why. Because the style of football played in Spanish for over the years have always made it that La Liga in the 2000s have taken over in terms of beating these teams because of how they play. Until Young, he said it best. He said, there they find intelligent players. If you guys used to watch Premier League back in the days of VG Stamp, the difference, they were running it was more of a going forward kind of game. It was too fast, right? Guess what? If you have a Spanish style of play, you will beat every team in Premier League with their style of football. And that's why City can run over everyone. That's why Arsenal with that style of play can run over everyone. That's why the semi-final in the Champions League all came from what kind of coaching? That's what I'm saying.
That more Spanish influence.
And it's easy to know that because in 2010, Barcelona won everything. Guess who won everything in the world? Spain. Their style of football makes it easier for them because
it's more effective against other clubs.
That's it.
Against other leagues, rather.
That's why. Because many leagues run you gotta have people that either too fast to execute your fast forward football. These guys don't think about fast. They think about what's the most effective way to send a pass. What's the most effective way to do this. That's why they slow down the game a lot. And I think that's why a lot of leagues have problem when they play against La Liga sides.
So, because they're forcing their own possession, but that does not mean backtracking and not moving forward. They're moving forward. They're opening up channels rather than just kind of bulldozing their way through. And I get it.
That was just one thing I wanted to add. But let's go and talk about Arsenal keeping their hopes alive, keeping the thinking that City can at least lose one game or draw.
It's still City's to win though. If they just maintain their momentum, they've got it.
That's what I will go for. The one thing that if you look at their last matchups from, I think they still have 3 matchups each. But City has 4. City has to play Tottenham. That's the only team that I feel like could give a draw in a sense to City. And that's the only matchup that I feel like if they did draw, then Arsenal has a title shot. Because you can pray that, okay, you guys can draw, then I can win on goal difference.
Because they have Wolves, Fulham, Tottenham, and then West Ham.
Yes.
And those are all very manageable.
Also, Arsenal has... that was Arsenal or City?
That was City's schedule.
Yeah. The Arsenal still has Manchester United.
Yep, they have Bournemouth, United, and Everton.
Yeah, and Man United is in a space where they're not good per se, but they have games where they can surprise you. And they can probably do it to Arsenal.
They can be a dream killer. Because that's the thing that they've been for a couple of years now. Even if they're not competitive in the league, they always seem to get relatively far in the 2 other cup competitions. In the Carabao Cup and in the FA Cup, they always seem to kind of just rely on that instead. But even if they're not competitive in the Premier League, and when they are in Europe, they're not that convincing, they still can just slip those little daggers into the other clubs that are performing well, that do have legitimate shots and aspirations for trophies. And so, you don't like seeing that late. But I will say, both Arsenal and City stumbled a little bit over the last 6 weeks or so. But they both seem like they're going, that they're both in solid form at the moment. I think that both of them being out of Europe has sort of sharpened them up on these final games. But they're both kind of finishing up very strong in their quality. And if they both continue in this fashion, I could see both clubs not losing another game, but that obviously that puts City on top by the end once all the games are played. That's what I believe to happen. I do think that both clubs could very easily, and I kind of expect both of them to go undefeated, but I expect City to have that 1 extra point by the end of the season, decided by a fucking point. That's crazy.
Well, hopefully, yes, for Arsenal fans, their hope is for City to draw. At least lose one of these games, which I still think is a utopia. I don't think they will. But
same.
But there's a strong feeling they might draw at least against Tottenham, because I think Tottenham is the only one to give them the business. But you never know. Football is some days people wake up on the good side of the bed and they decide to be Superman. So one of these things might give them.
It's very poetic that at the end of the season, Arsenal fans are probably praying for Tottenham to win. Like, please, God, don't be Spurs at this moment for 90 minutes. Please don't be Spurs. Please get this win. Yeah. Oh my God, so it's wild. And it's over for Liverpool.
Yeah. It's over for Liverpool. I don't think they're coming back, but that was a good thing. So. I mean, at some point, their 15 past game, I think they conceded at least one goal. If you start conceding goals like that, at some point you start losing, and that's what happened. And the other thing for Arsenal is game management. I think they're deep in form in December, or as a team, kind of had an impact on the fact that they cannot win now. Because, like I said, you want to manage your least the games that you can win. You want to win it. Losing against, I think they lost against Fulham. Losing against teams like that, no, you shouldn't.
Yep.
You should expect to lose probably against the top competitors.
You should expect to take a draw and turn it like as a sign of victory against any of the big six away. And that's where you allow those mistakes, because you're going to lose, you're going to draw, you're going to concede goals and points when you don't, like, whether you want to or not. But it's about mitigating the risks and making sure that they don't happen against smaller clubs. If you set yourself up well, if you go on an eight match winning streak, you can lose to City or Liverpool, and it does not matter overall. But when you start dropping those points against Fulham and West Ham, the last 2 seasons have been the clubs that are like, that Arsenal just do not want to face. And you can't, like, it's not acceptable.
Because at the end of the season, these guys are managing well the game, especially someone like City. You got Pep Guardiola, so his experience, he knows that games that are easy, I'm winning that no matter what happens. Come a bad weather, come a storm, I'm winning these games. But expecting that games that will be tough, then we'll try to manage those. So this is what they felt, and I think they have to get this lesson for next year's on again. West Ham 2-2 Liverpool. Liverpool at this point is out, so I don't think that's good. But that game was good. Like I said, if you start conceding every time, at some point you lose, some point you draw. And they had like a little scuffle happening. Salah with
I saw that. And
Klopp. I mean, Klopp. Yeah, so I don't know what's about that, but when you look at Liverpool, it looks like some of the players have mentally checked out in a sense. Klopp himself, looking at him, just now thinking about it, he don't seem too in the game in a sense, because the tactics are more or less redundant. It's the same thing. It's not like he's trying this everything. Every time they have a game, if you look 5 games ago, it's just the same thing. I'm not saying that you can't always do the same thing if he wins, but like I said, you've been conceding all these past games, so something had to be done, fixing the defense, fixing whatnot. And so I'm really excited to see what will happen next.
When it shows really fast that we had mentioned it earlier on, Van Dijk does not have a partner, a reliable partner, and you also have to accept that since his knee injury, he is not as athletic as he used to be. He's not as swift as he used to be. And it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter if he has another partner, because he's never been lightning quick. He's always about placement rather than having to run down a defender. Just don't put yourself in that position in the first place. He's always been that kind of guy. But he has lost a step since the knee injury. And that, along with not having a reliable partner, he is all the time out of position now, because he's having to either cover. He's been... Robertson is a bit more offensive. He comes up and makes plays, but Van Dijk then has to drift out into the wing a little bit more, and he keeps getting burnt on that wing. If he's your wide guy post ACL injury, that is not good for you. And Jarrell Kwanzaa is not the kind of guy that's going to step back and help cover that spot either. They need to have a reliable 4-man back so that Van Dijk doesn't have to spread himself too thin, because in tight spaces he's still very good. But he needs someone else on his right of equal talent, of equal understanding of where to place himself. But they're asking him to do a little bit too much physically, that at his age, but more importantly the injury, he just can't do that kind of stuff anymore.
I go with that. We'll definitely cover the Champions League on the next week. We'll do, and if you don't know, we have great games for the Champions League, and If you don't catch it, that's shame on you.
You're an
and
idiot.
That's on you.
Fucking
Because
moron.
At this point of the Champions League, we are
it's all must watch.
Yeah.
Every game from now on
it's
must
a must
watch.
We are assisting to the highest exhibition of football.
Yeah, only 5 matches left in the Champions League this season. It all went away. The quarterfinal, like everything after the round of 16 has built up so fast. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
The group stage felt like it took a little bit longer than usual, mostly because we were talking about that group stage with PSG and Dortmund, and it's a rematch from the group stage, which is interesting as well.
Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, you know, one thing in the Champions League, the most matchup has been Bayern Munich, Real Madrid in the history of Champions League, and Bayern Munich has the most wins against Madrid. But recently, Madrid has won all their games against Bayern Munich. So let's see how that works. Paris Saint-Germain, Dortmund, for once, I'm thinking Paris Saint-Germain might take for once. Because, you know, football is different. Dortmund we can, like I said, we didn't count them. They're in here. And I know a lot of people is not going to count them, including me. But like I said, I'm not also in a utopia. This is football, right? Anybody can win at any time, and Dortmund could take the win.
They worked their way up here. Like they're not. It's not because they got a little bit lucky with how the bracket drew. But you still have to win those games, and you have to also accept that especially after the round of 16. Once you get to the quarterfinals, like there's no easy place, so you just go for it.
And in argument, people always, when you say, "Oh, X team is better than Y team," you say, "Well, X team played this." No, because in a competition like this, like you said, after the 16, you have to win every matchup. We thought these guys were you thinking X is too good. You get that, and X loses the game. Look at Dortmund right now, and like I said, Paris Saint-Germain. This is probably as far as they've ever gotten into the Champions League. And if you get here, you don't want to lose the game. So, hey, man.
Wait, who?
Paris Saint-Germain.
This isn't the farthest?
This is the farthest. They already went to the finals?
Yeah, remember? They got smacked up by Bayern in 2020 in that COVID season.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best they ever looked, too. But that was also the best Bayern's looked, too. They got the shit kicked out.
That Bayern was the scariest Bayern. I remember taking them on FIFA.
Yeah. So you probably agree with this. I'm fully expecting the final to be Real Madrid and PSG. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And I expect Real Madrid to take that one out as well.
I expect Madrid to take them, but I'm saying Paris Saint-Germain, if you get there second time, you want to make the best.
Yeah, I mean
but Madrid in Champions League, especially in final,
they've improved.
Madrid.
They've clinched the French league. It doesn't matter, but. We can both agree that in the group stage, PSG did not look great at all. Everyone's consensus. Well, they showed up in second in that group, and they should have won that one. But since they've gotten out of that and they've been in the knockout rounds, they have slowly been improving and figuring some things out, and it's all coming from players not Mbappe. Gonzalo Ramos has actually bailed them out several times. Ousmane Dembele is really finding good form as well.
The guy from Barcelona. No, that's why I mentioned the coach. Oh, I keep forgetting the name. Because he has so much experience coaching, especially the what I'm thinking he's doing is a good thing to do. The way he's having this team now, a lot of young players, not trying to. Most of these guys didn't cost a lot of money apart from Mbappe. I'm talking the current team, Mbappe and probably Hakimi. The current team, it's not that expensive. Probably Dembele didn't cost them that much. Dembele cost Barcelona much, but not Paris Saint-Germain.
And they were just like, get this fucker out of here now.
So I'm just saying, this is how you run a team, and that's probably what he wants to make. And that's the statement he's doing. He's sending out. And like I said, hey, we're gonna watch the games. We're gonna try to talk about the games. Let's go to the player of the week. For me, I think the player of the week was Kai Havertz. Like I said it many times. I met this guy. He's an Arsenal fan like you, and he was telling me about Kai Havertz or whatever. And I just said what I'm gonna say to everyone. And I said it. He just needs time. He's that player that needs time. And guess what? He had enough time and he had figured it out. He played excellently. 1 assist, 1 goal last game. And he's doing his thing.
Yeah, I would agree as well. He is playing exceptionally well at the moment. Yeah, I would go with that. I would go with him for the player of the week. because he had an assist on that ball that he sent to Saka for that goal from over the top, that rainbow. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a target ball. It gets directly to the player's leg.
It's like both the pass and Saka's first touch were both equally important in that build-up. And then he does a little two-step inside. He did exactly what Ben Davies should have thought he was going to do. And it wasn't enough. He just did, But that's a sign of a good player as well. Yeah. You can sit there and look at Messi or Ronaldo and go, I know exactly what he's going to do. Doesn't matter. You just can't stop him. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Definitely. Someone like Messi.
He can tell you. He can tell you to your face, I'm going to cut in right now. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
For me, goal of the week, I don't know if you saw that. Jeffrey Schlupp.
I did not get to see it, but it'll be playing on the screen right here.
Jeffrey Schlupp is Fulham Crystal Palace. That was a dead ball. I'm talking a shot. My bad. From like the goalkeeper he put it on the top right angle or top left angle. The goalkeeper couldn't take it, and I think that was the goal of the week as for me at least.
Beautiful.
So
I will watch it.
Yeah, gotta watch it.
Editing this thing together. I'm gonna be watching it at the same time that the video dropped. But shit, that's wild looking.
You guys should look at that.
Yeah. Look at it. Just look at it. Keep looking.
That's an amazing goal. So yeah, this is the goal of the week. Like I said, we're gonna cover everything from Champions League next week to the leagues, and most of the leagues are pretty much over in the sense that we know who is gonna win or who have won. But Premier League, we still have some expectation. I would say Arsenal, find yourself a witchcraft doctor that will spare some voodoo on
Paul Pogba. Call him up. Call him. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. If you haven't watched our show, I encourage you to go watch our show. All the fans that have been watching anything that we release, go subscribe, go encourage, go like, turn your notification bell on YouTube on, and go on our Spotify. I think the links are always down below on our videos. Of course, go watch that go listen on Spotify. If you don't want to watch us, you can at least listen to us.
Spotify,
and we got TikTok and Instagram and what's the other one?
We got all the bullshit. I was gonna listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, so go on there, watch all what we do, and give us a thumbs up. And with that, we end this podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.